like to take a few minutes to talk about mills today. Innovative Bowling Products is the actual manufacturer of the products that we sell. We make 4 different styles of jigs to hold the balls, including this one, which is our patented product. Before we get to that, though, I want to talk about the mill itself. When people who are thinking about buying a mill, we want to remind them that it is a one-time buy. This machine is going to last you your entire career in the pro shop industry. So we ask that you get informed before you make your purchase. And we want to show you what's different about Innovative, what separates us, what makes us better. We hear that being said all the time. This is a premium product, or this is a superior product, and that is marketing. What we're going to talk about is the facts of the mill. The first thing is where this mill is purchased. The manufacturers of these mills, and they look similar because they're called clones. They look the same, but there is a major difference in the way these things are made. They look the same. You think, well, I can buy one cheaper from XYZ company or whoever that is. But when you go to use it and years down the line, the flaws inside that machine will show up. And the first thing you want to look for is if we extend the quill, that's this silver part here, and the Z-axis down. If we would put an indicator on this and connect it to the quill and to the keyless chuck, and we would put the same amount of pressure on it, that is what we would call run out. And the mills that we use, we pay more money for our mills than any other mill company out there because we get the lowest amount of run out of the Z-axis. When does that matter? That matters when you're drilling oval holes. The hole, if you had a lot of run out on there, you'll get a lot of chatter, you'll get a lot of vibration, and the quality of the hole that you're going to drill into the machine, and you probably don't know it because you are not comparing them side by side. So we pay more money for the actual mill when we do this to start out with a better quality product. Now, add to that the finest set of digitals money can buy for a milling machine. Other companies offer digitals that they pay about half the price that we are currently paying for these, and then on top of it, we trick them out when we add them to our machines. This adds a substantial amount of money to the cost of a mill. But we're actually using a laser beam shining that through glass. There's nothing more accurate than that, regardless of what anybody tells you. So we're using the finest digitals. This particular machine is a 2-axis. We have the X and Y, which is your left and right and your forward and reverse. We can add, for an upgrade, you can put a Z-axis digital on there. You do not have to have it, but it is a nice feature. Personally, I think it slows me down a little bit when I'm drilling. I like the depth gauge here because the depth of the hole is not as critical. And on your interchangeable thumbs and switch grips, those drill bits all come with a stopper, so you really don't need it anyway. So we have the finest mills to start. We have the finest digitals in the industry. Here we have an integrated control panel. This is an excellent feature. What this does is makes everything work from a touch button right there where it's ease of operation. When you go to drill, in this case we have a pump to hold the ball. We have the lamp, we can turn it on from a switch here. Your vacuum cleaner, you're not reaching over here to turn on the vacuum cleaner, up here to turn on a light. Everything is there with touch button, including your decimal equivalent chart. So we're doing everything in thousandths of an inch. So if you're not sure what the decimals are, we have a nice convenient chart right here to tell you what that is. And the appearance of that really looks nice for your customer. Next thing I want to move over, I want to talk about drill bits. Drill bits are very expensive. And if you do any research on drill bits, you'll find that carbide is what determines the quality of the bit. Innovative custom makes our own drill bits. You may see other drill bits that look like this, but unless you buy them from Innovative and they're backed by Innovative, then you are getting a lower quality carbide. We use the finest grade of carbide available in the world, which does make them more expensive. But let's go back to what I said. This is a one-time buy. What difference does it make? Some people say, oh, it's a drill bit. So what? I'm going to put holes in the ball. You will drill more bowling balls before you need to sharpen your bits. These will last you your entire career if you maintain them, send them in to us to get sharpened. We'll sharpen them right back to brand new specifications because we do manufacture these tools. You get a carousel drill rack for ease of use. This is our own custom designed plug cutter. I custom designed this myself. It is unique to the industry because it's asymmetrical. Most plug cutters are symmetrical. So the benefit of this is with a symmetrical plug cutter, when you come down on top of a ball, it'll leave a little pimple there. You got to go and do extra work to take it apart. The edge of this is just set so perfect. We make about 450 to 460 different products here in our factory. This is one of the most difficult ones to get just right because it has to be perfect. And what we find is they work especially well on innovative mills. We have that set just right so that when you're on 0-0 and you come down to the ball, you will see that it does not scar the ball. So like other plug cutters would, you have to then go do extra work on a brand new ball so it makes it faster. And speaking of speed, with the dual chamber power vac, this is our patented product. This here, and I'm going to demonstrate it here for you in a minute, this is faster than any other machine in the world. Now, you say, well, I don't want to rush my customer. I get that. But let's think about last night if we plugged 5 or 6 different bowling balls. And here we are the next day, it's in the morning, the customers haven't come into the shop yet, and we want to cut them down. All right? All you have to do is set your machine at 0-0, put your plug cutter in. You can plug the fingers, the thumbs, and the balance holes, and cut them down without taking the ball out. You just set the ball in, you cut it down, disconnect the ball, rotate it, and we'll demonstrate it here in a second. Everything stays. There's no clamps. There's nothing that you have to bump and hit and lock down to hold the ball. It's all done by the touch of a button. We'll demonstrate that very quickly just to show you how fast it is. You touch a button, it's totally locked. There's nothing faster than that. There's no other movement. When I want to move the ball, I just take it, I move it, I lock it, it's done. That is what makes this thing super fast. If you were going to cut, let's say, 6 plugs down, 6 different balls on any other machine compared to this, I will cut your time in half on this machine. So I'm finished with a higher quality finish. There's no moving parts, so there's no vibration. The work surface is low to the table, so we can bring the head of the machine down. It's just, it is so far superior to anything else on the market that you don't see it until we start talking about it. And so we pick up speed. Well, again, why do I need speed? Well, I know you guys are busy in your shops. You got other things that you need to do. Cutting the plugs down, moving on to the next operation saves you a lot of time. Now, one of the other talks in the industry is, okay, well, vacuum. You need to make a good seal. This is our patented product. It has 2 chambers. So some of the systems of the old days where there were issues, and that was not innovative stuff, where there were issues, was they were single chamber. So if you had a bowling ball such as this that had deep engraving and you put it across there, you could not get a good suction. Wouldn't hold the ball. So I want to demonstrate here. Let's take deep engraving and let's put that right across both chambers and turn the ball on, and you'll see it locks instantly. The only time you'll have an issue is if one of the holes is over the ball, over the seal, like that, okay? Now you have an issue. We have a separate lockdown that comes with the machine that you could use in this case. But how often, seriously, do we drill where the holes are way down below there? So if we put the holes like this, you're missing the holes, you hit the button, it's solid as a rock in under half a second. Now, the other nice thing is there's no cumbersome clamping systems around it. So when I want to pick up the ball, I just pick it up and I line it up. However I want to line it up, touch a button, we're locked. So it makes it so much more convenient, so much faster to use. Now, we'll put this ball down. And I want to show you one other thing. Actually, I'm going to show you 2 things that separates this. And then we'll get into the keyless chuck here too. With certain clamping systems, like pivoting style jigs, there are some real inherent flaws in those jigs. Those jigs were designed back before reactive resin was ever made. Reactive resin sort of obsoleted pivoting jigs, and I'll tell you why. Very rarely, almost never, do we drill reactive resin bowling balls without some type of a thumb slug or thumb insert. And when your whole idea is I want to drill all 3 holes without taking the ball out of the jig, the drawback to that is, and I'm going to ask you, if you're going to use a thumb slug, how do you get the slug in the ball? There's only 3 options. 1, I can take the ball out of the jig and do it on the workbench. That is the way to do it. And if you do that, you've now obsoleted the pivoting jig. But if I'm going to leave the ball in the pivoting jig, drill my hole for my slug, my 2 options now to get that slug in there is to take another slug and use my keyless chuck and my Z-axis as an arbor. And the manufacturers of the mills clearly state, never use a mill as an arbor. If you do, you are wrecking your Z-axis and you're prematurely wearing it out. That's the first thing. The second thing is, if you're going to put slugs in that way, you better have yourself another one of these pieces right here. We sell them all the time to people who are putting slugs in that way, because this will break when you do that. And when that breaks on you, you are out of business until you get a new one. The third way you can put the slug in is loosen everything up, pivot it around, take your slug and start beating on it with a mallet right on top of a machine that you've just paid a lot of money for, that you're trying to keep accurate down to 1/1000th of an inch. So I ask you, how long do you think your product quality will last if you're going to do that on your mill? The best way to put the slug in, dial in your pitches, drill your pilot hole, bevel the hole, 2 quick shots, clean it out, and move it over to the workbench. Hammer in your slug on the workbench. Now, move it back to the mill. That's where you want to do the drilling, okay? Now, I want to show you another benefit to this machine. There's some new drilling techniques that are really taking over in the world today. This is all new stuff. Even if you've been drilling bowling balls for 25 years, I want you to recognize that forward and reverse, left and right, drilling balls off of the center line is fine in some cases. But we have developed, and not just innovative, but there are some very modern pro shops out there now utilizing the technique that I want to show you. And that is, what I did was I drilled the center line of the ball here. Okay? So when we want to change pitches, let's say for this customer, we want to go with an 1/8 reverse pitch. So we're going to go to 125 thousandths. That's an 1/8 reverse. Okay? You've taken the time to measure the customer's hand, whatever method you use to measure the hand. You've taken good information, you have it on the drill sheet. What I'm saying is, when you go to move that information over to the bowling ball, this is where a lot of people miss. If you look at my hand, and we're talking about forward and reverse pitch off of the center line, and I'll move that so the camera can kind of pick it up. All right, and in this case, I'm going to go an 1/8 reverse. An 1/8 reverse would normally be done on this center line. So we're going to move back this direction, okay? But I'm saying to you is my thumb does not want to bend on the center line. It only wants to bend in one plane. And that plane is 90 degrees perpendicular to my oval angle. Okay? So if I've taken the time to measure a customer's hand and I've determined, due to his flexibility, the length of his span, the way they roll the ball, that I want to put an 1/8 reverse in their thumb hole, fine. The next thing I need to do is measure their oval angle. Once I've determined their oval angle, either with the innovative measuring ball or whatever method you're going to use, you want to do this. Put your prosect on the ball, and let's use for an example, to try to make this quick, that I've determined he's a 45-degree angle. I just come up on my prosect on the other side, I've lined it up with my center line, I've marked 45 degrees. Now, I'm going to draw my 45-degree line, okay? I've dialed in my thumb pitch, I've chosen whatever size drill bit I want, but instead of drilling that ball on the center line, you want to rotate it to drill it on that line. And the reason for that, let's think about the way my fingers are. Here's my fingers in the ball. Look at the way my thumb pivots. Okay? Does not pivot on the center line. So when you're only using a 2-axis pivoting jig, you really can't do drillings like this. And this, I promise you, if you fit a customer and you start drilling the thumb hole the way I'm explaining to you, it does so many things for you. First of all, we move it this way. Now, some people will claim that, gee, you can't line up that center line, my new center line, and make it accurate. Well, let me tell you something. If I'm off, I can see immediately that I'm off. I can line that thing up, and it's dead nutted every single time. You are not going to miss. All right? Now, put your drill bit in, drill your pilot hole. If we want to drill oval angles, we no longer have to worry about complicated hypotenuse of triangle math formulas. If you want to use them, that's fine, but I'll make it real simple for you. How about if we want to cut a 30 thousandths oval? Guess what? Just move it 30 thousandths, because you are now cutting across the hypotenuse of that triangle. It is so fast and so easy and deadly accurate. What you dial in is what you're going to get. But it doesn't stop there. See how we can move the ball? Our hands are nice and free and easy. There's another thing that we want to add to this system. We put our thumb down, we take our customer, we bring them over, take the drill bit out, and we lay their thumb in the thumb hole and lay the 4 knuckles of the hand, the underside of these knuckles of the hand, flat on the ball. Just like that. I'm trying to do it so the camera can pick it up. And here's where the finger hole is, there's the other one. And take your yellow pencil, and this is called the CLT. All right? Now we extend this line down. And let's say we want 0 forward and reverse in the fingers. And let's say we want 3/8 left. We just run it to 375. Okay? Go past, roll it right up to it. And we're going to drill that finger hole. Instead of drilling it off of the center line, we drill it off of the CLT line. Okay? See, you've got to be able to spin the ball. All right? In machining, that's C, but what we're really doing is we're tweaking the Z axis of the machine by doing this. Okay? You get it there? Just hit the button, it's locked. If you step back and you think you're off a little bit, just move it. Done. How much faster can you get than that? No vibration, no moving parts, nothing to wear out. Now the reason why we do that, I showed you, your thumb only bends in one direction, okay, in one plane. Well, as the ball comes off of your hand, now your fingers, again, your center line would be over to the base of the thumb, but your fingers don't bend that way. So why are we drilling bowling balls off of center lines unless the customer demands it? If you do this, now the ball will lay in the palm of the hand. The bowler's rev rate generally will go up. They will be more versatile with their rotational limitations at the bottom of the swing. So they can, if they want to come around the side of the ball more, before when they were locked into the ball, they weren't able to do that. Now they can. And after the ball comes off the thumb, the fingers are pivoting right off the CLT line. This is the modern way to drill a bowling ball for a high-end player, for a good league bowler, bowlers that were complaining about their hands bothering them and things like that. This is what you can do on every innovative mill that you cannot do on our competitors' mills. And that's just, if that wasn't true, I wouldn't be standing here telling you that. That is the way it is. This is a one-time buy. The only thing I haven't talked about is the keyless chuck. Many systems sold on the market don't even come with them. There is a huge difference in keyless chucks. We can buy keyless chucks as low as $75, but Innovative's not going to sell that to you. These chucks right here are over $325. This is all high-end stuff. When you are entrusting us with your money to buy from Innovative, we are not going to skimp on quality. We got the longest warranty in the industry. We're famous for the best customer service in the industry. Every mill that goes out has my personal business card in it with my cell phone. We take phone calls on Christmas Day. If you're having a problem, you call us, and we will stand behind everything that we do. Okay, thank you for tuning in. I'm glad you watched it. I hope that wasn't too long for you. The next time, if you're serious about buying a mill, you give us a call before you buy from anybody else.